Healed the blanket way amniotic membrane inlay overlay grafting for persistent epithelial defects. No financial disclosure or conflict of interest. Coming to the introduction, persistent epithelial defects can cause prolonged inflammation of the ocular surface, damaging the corneal stem cells, epithelial basement membrane, resulting in corneal scarring, neovascularization, decreased vision. MMP produced by keratocytes, epithelial cells, neutrophils can cause progressive stromal ulceration with risk of perforation. Amnion prevents inflammatory cell infiltration and reduces apoptosis in keratocytes after transplantation on the corneal surface. The aim of the study is to determine the effect of AMT on persistent corneal epithelial defects and to compare the efficacy between inlay and overlay techniques. So a retrospective study of 20 eyes who underwent AMT for PED was done. The use of AMT was restricted to those patients in whom all previous measures, including BCL and tarsography, failed. Amniotic membrane was placed on the surface of the cornea in 12 overlay group A and 8 inlay group B fashion. So coming to the results, PED healed after first AMT in 16 eyes with an average of 21 days after surgery and recurred in 4 eyes, as we can see in this pie diagram. So coming to the results, which are elaborated. So among the 12 eyes that were treated with AMT group A, overlay fashion, PED healed after the first AMT in 9 eyes with an average of 20.5 days and recurred in 3 eyes. 2 eyes healed with repeat AMT by overlay technique. So one eye that showed recurrence did not heal with repeat AMT overlay technique and needed repeat lamellar keratoplasty. So these are the few pictures of those patients that were treated successfully by AMG overlay technique, in which an AMG of 12 to 14 mm in diameter was secured on the surface of the cornea in the mid-peripheral cornea with NO interrupted nylon sutures, and this was secured in place by placing a BCL. So we noticed the dissolution of the amnion in 4 weeks with completely good results in most of the patients. So in inlay technique, among the 8 eyes that were treated with inlay, the PD healed after the first AMT in 7 eyes and recurred in 1 eye, with an average healing period of 18.5 days after the AMT inlay technique, which did not statistically differ from those of the group A cases. So in the inlay technique, the size of the epithelial defect was first measured, it was cleaned of all the debris, and an amnion, which was about 1 mm more than size of the epithelial defect, was secured in place with 10 nylon interrupted sutures, and then an AMG was placed in an overlay fashion on top of it and was secured in place with a BCL. So our results show that there was no statistically significant difference in recurrence rate between AMT overlay and inlay technique. There was a slight difference in success rate after the first AMT when the inlay technique was used. A stable ocular surface during the follow-up was noted in all patients post-AMG overlay. AMT can improve visual acuity by both corneal surface restoration and improvement of corneal transparency. In our study, the average visual acuity improved after AMT in both overlay and inlay groups, but the difference between the preoperative and final visual acuities was not statistically significant. To conclude, AMT inlay group had better postoperative outcomes in terms of reduced recurrence of PED, although the healing time was not statistically different in both the groups. The use of AMT for PED should be reserved for those cases in which removal of medications toxic to the epithelium, aggressive lubrication, and ocular surface protection with BCL and tarsography failed to control the inflammation and closure of the defect. We did not find any difference between the overlay and inlay techniques in terms of healing, recurrence rate, and effect on visual rehabilitation. Further studies are required to confirm our results and to compare AMT with other strategies in treatments of PED and stromal ulcers, and to compare results after different techniques of transplantation. These are my references, and thank you.
Hi, Soumya. Can you tell me what is the originality of your study? And you mentioned that there was a difference in the recurrence rate which was not statistically significant. So can you go back to the conclusion slide? Yeah, the one before this. Okay, so point 1. So what was your in discussion you mentioned that there was no statistically significant difference. Then you go back to the next slide.
Like we just wanted to tell that there was a slightly better healing when the AMD inlay technique was used, because we are the inlay technique, we are cutting the amnion for the epithelial defect, and then again it was closed by an overlay amnion, and then again it was secured in place with a BCL. So the thing is, we are adding more of epithelial growth factors and transforming growth factors. So the epithelial apoptosis has decreased and it has led to better outcomes.
I'm not asking about how it happened, but what is one message that you want to give, and what is the originality of your study?
The message that we want to give is like when there are some cases of refractive corneal ulcers or exposure keratopathy or neurotropic keratitis which are not healing, the BCL or tarsographies and all other measures have failed. So instead of going for a TPK, in cases of, especially in our cases, more of infective keratitis which are showing epithelial basement membrane erosion with stromal ulceration, which are in the risk of perforation, and we don't want to go to such a, we don't want it to go to the progress of perforation. So when you are seeing the stromal ulceration is deepening or anything, then it's better to go for closure.
Do you think in such an inflamed eye, amniotic membrane is going to hold on?
Madam, normally it does hold on with BCL in most of the cases, because we are also giving adjunct inflammation.
TABCL would be a better option than an amniotic membrane grafting.
Ma'am, because BCL also acts as a double-edged sword, because sometimes it can cause an hypoxic effect and can increase the inflammation and infiltrate also. So when you have an amnion along with BCL, it does help in resolution of the epithelial defect, because when the epithelial defect is healed, then you can see a difference in the infection healing rate also, and so that the patient does not end up in a TPK, he does end up in a macular scar with a smoothened surface, and you can plan for a PKP later, or you can go for any other refractive surgery.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.